Test, test, test.
Hey, make sure everybody's mics are on. Put them on.
It's not to the old standard.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda, please.
I motion to accept the consent agenda. Second it.
Moved in second, any more questions? Let's vote on it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Department reports. Mike Fisher has been excused for a long weekend. He had the plan already. So I excused him today because they're gonna have a nice 4-day weekend. He's not gonna be here tonight. Chief, you're up for report.
So we're still searching for a lateral candidate. We've had two that were interested, but we couldn't rope them in all the way. I won't go too much into that. We're now back completely up and running 100% and access with the Washington State Patrol. And that's so Rachel and I can both run names, warrants, protection orders, that fact that you have to go to training and pass the tests. We've completed that, so that's a good thing. And then we're back into the WISN as well, which is I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but it's a really great tool for the state of Washington and nationwide to keep track of crimes and criminals and stuff like that. And we are talking with a person about the flock camera system. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but it's gonna, if we can bring it here to Toledo, this is something we're gonna do after Cheese Days, by the way. But I'm gonna pitch it to a couple of local business owners and see if they'll help sponsor it. It would be a win-win for the community. If we had any major crimes, this thing would take it out. It'd be a really good thing. Other than that, it's really hot and get ready for Cheese Days.
Is there any questions for the chief? Thank you, chief. Appreciate that.
I do. Actually not a question, but you might want to bring those items up in the planning meeting. 5-year plan meeting.
Oh, you mean their camera system? Or, okay. Yeah, I want to read it first and understand it. I just now was made aware of it. That like Lewis County, Centralia, Chehalis, they all have it.
Yeah.
And I think Napavine is thinking about getting it. I'm not sure, but I want to read it all first and then,
Yeah, bring it to the meeting.
yeah, bring it to the meeting.
Rachel?
We finally got our exit interview with Audrey for the audit, which is great. They've got finally everything they need. We were able to clean out all the boxes from all the camping, the showers and all that, the boat launch. All of them. I think we brought in like $2,000. Just from, I guess, I don't know when they stopped collecting. I don't know, whenever they stopped collecting up until now. The SAO report, which is our yearly audit, or our yearly report that we submit to the auditor's office, is still in progress. And that's really it.
Is there any questions for Rachel?
No, that's great. Keep sending me stuff like you have been.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
great.
No questions for the questions, Rachel. Thank you, Rachel. Council report, Emily.
Let's see. No, I've been away for the last little while. And I came back and everything was great. So, nope, we did.
Okay. Eric?
I don't have anything to report.
All righty. Kathy?
I do not have anything to report.
All righty. Jamie?
I am looking to see if I have anything to report. I'm on the agenda tonight, so maybe I can.
That's on the agenda.
Yeah. That's on the agenda. I don't know. I'll bring it up on the agenda item.
Okay,
Comes to me.
all right. we'll move on to the committee reports. Chief, do you have anything else you want to add to the police report? Nothing?
No.
Okay,
Nothing that.
anybody here from Park Board?
You are, yeah, I do, I have something here. This is the local parks maintenance program. And this is it says public comments will be accepted till June 20th. I sent this out to the Parks Board. I didn't really, receive anything back. However, I think they need more direction from the council, and that's why I gave you this tonight. So this kind of, limits us. We cannot do any sort of building that's over 50 years old. And we cannot, build on anything that has, a archaeological site or dig on any sort of archaeological area. So this would be provide us priority maintenance backlogs. This would be a $50,000 to $100,000 grant. No park and recreation plan is required to apply. We do not have to pay this money back. This is capital equipment, materials and supplies, and it just basically you can see what is run down here. I will also have this available for the public to see as well, if you would like to. Matching, it says we don't have to pay this back as well. We also need to make sure that we sorry, my brain, say how much our employee time is going to cost when we give this grant, how much it would cost for our city to match. Have our project, define it, give it to the people who are the state and say, we want all of this money. We have to have it all very well defined before we give it out to them. So what I'm asking for us is to, what do we want that project to be? And we need to have that by early July. That is their deadline. That's what they want to have this by. Yeah, basically now. So this will give us not much time.
So I know the core of the kitchen is older, but when did it have a complete? It looked like it had a
1958.
big remodel though. Looks like it had a big remodel.
Yeah, so 1958.
Did it have a
So
big remodel after that?
I'm not sure about anything about the building. So. But the playground is quite. So that's I really want Mike Fisher to have some input on this. Perhaps he could give a list sometime this week. What he could think.
We had
of.
a survey on the kitchen.
Yeah, I wonder if because the kitchen is part of the building, if that would just,
That was a lot of money. Fix the kitchen.
yeah. And the
Will
building
the
is,
grant apply to the kitchen?
well, I don't know. These are very good questions.
Okay.
So, but this is why you have this information before you. And so as soon as I found out the timeline, I wasn't, I sent this to multiple people in the park board, hoping that I would hear something back, but that was,
I never received it.
you didn't receive my email. I sent Mike an email. Yeah, so, okay, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was supposed to be passed on. Well, here we go. So, there is another timeline here that, let me look at my email. It does say that
We could use this money for a riding lawnmower,
We sure.
listed right here.
Should have, could have, would have, but do we have a grant writer that can do it like that? I'm not sure.
Talk to Joanna Jones,
Yes,
what'd she say?
she hasn't yet to respond.
Okay,
I mean, I think that honestly, relying on a volunteer grant writer at this point might not be our best bet. I think if we could realistically put our effort into finding a grant writer who could look at grants for the city of Toledo, that would be our best bet. And if we, you know, I don't know how we do this, but it seems like we've been, you know, I'm not a professional grant writer.
doesn't Blanco have some?
Joe Jones is fantastic at it. Why would we?
She's great at it, but she's, you know, she's also a full-time mom. You know, and so I think that
What's the cutoff date on the grant?
that's what I'm looking for right now.
She said July, so imagine the end of July.
So August, I think, is the cutoff date. So-
Awarded in late September.
Well, I think,
I think either that lady at the Vision Toledo or Lions Club is a professional grant writer. That they just got on board.
so, but I think that clear direction is needed before we go for a grant. So that is, I think, where we need to.
What kind of clear direction do you need?
Well, what are we gonna use this money for?
We need to read. We need to safety-eyes the kitchen.
True, but it says here that we cannot use this money for a building that is 50 years or older.
Hmm.
So if that's the case, then what are going to be our secondary concerns? How do we itemize those? And then,
What about put up a new one?
great,
That's a half.
that's a
$1,000,000.
huge,
So this is sounding an
Huge
awful lot like another
concern.
business item, not a report staff.
Right,
staff
sorry,
report.
so-
So if we want to like have a whole big drawn out conversation about it, we should probably put it on the agenda there.
okay,
With all-
moving on,
with all politeness.
Moving on,
moving on.
planning commission. Steven,
Not much to report. The state of Washington came out, and if you follow social media whatsoever, you know that there's been both positive and negative feedback with
Yeah.
regards to the center line bumpers and pedestrian crossing signs. Yes, a lot. And there doesn't seem to be a neutral zone.
No.
No
independence.
What's that?
No independence.
No.
You're either over here, or here.
Be that as it may, they are also going to return and restripe the parking along 505. And Councilman Hayes and myself were able to convince them to essentially leave that parking as is, except for a couple of places in front of the hardware store, that they felt there was a liability issue for line of sight of people entering and leaving the driveway that they put hatch marks on. But we wanted to take a wait and see attitude before we even discuss changing the parking until we saw whether there were actually positive results as a result of the center line bumpers and the new striping and signing. Personally, I've noticed people slowing down.
I was just gonna say that. I've noticed a lot of people slowing down.
And I've seen people come to almost a stop sometimes because they see the stop sign. I don't find that a problem myself, but apparently some citizens do. But that's the way that is, and we'll be in touch with the state again before they come back to review the parking along 505.
I was at the meeting with you guys when they presented those. And they had a breakaway
Yes.
system. What happened to the breakaway
The
system?
base on that breakaway failed, and so they're taking that part back to the manufacturer
Hmm.
as a warranty issue.
It did affect, yeah, it did break away.
Yeah,
That's why it's
yeah, it broke completely off.
actually supposed to
Right.
obviously split down and then flip back up on the cable system. But it appears the base itself is separable from the sign itself, and in the future, they were hoping that the city might consider buying a small selection of those bases should they fail in the future, because there are only a couple of screws to replace. And if that's the case, or we could get the school to 3D print them,
Yes.
we would have a supply of available replacements. But no, the base, it took a chunk right off the base, and that's not supposed to happen.
Right, because the one he demonstrated, he laid it through on the ground and popped that back up.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they were quite surprised that it didn't do that.
I'll bet they were. Thank you, Stephen. Anything else?
No, sir.
Thank you. Water and sewer and streets, we got Mike gone, so we'll skip that one. Public hearing, none. Special presentation, none. Public comments on agenda items. Rachel, anybody sign up? Nobody signed up? Let's move on to new business. Rebecca Durst, oath of office. I have the paper right here. Come on up, please. Do you have a paper to read?
Get sworn in.
In case I can't pronounce something. Where do you wanna go?
I don't know where you want me.
Well, we get on camera.
Okay,
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. Say your name, I'll say my name. I, Stephen Dovash,
I, Rebecca Durst,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm that I am a citizen
that, or affirm that I am a citizen
of the United States,
of the United States,
the state of Washington,
the state of Washington,
and the city of Toledo,
and the city of Toledo,
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States.
and the laws of the United States,
I'm Washington. Wait,
yeah, it's repeated, the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
and the ordinances of the city of Toledo,
and the ordinances of the city of Toledo,
and will to the best of my judgment,
and will to the best of my judgment,
skill and ability,
skill and ability,
truly and faithfully,
truly, faithfully,
diligently and impartially
diligently, and impartially
perform the duties of the position
perform the duties of the position
of city council position number 3
of city council position number 3
for the city of Toledo,
for the city of Toledo,
Lewis County, Washington,
Lewis County, Washington,
as such duties are prescribed by law.
as such duties are prescribed by law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You can sit at the big table now.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. That one's quick and easy. No hardly any mistakes, but there was a few. October Vision Conference spending approval, which is in your packet. Of Rachel. And. Kara going, is that the one you're gonna go to the Leavenworth study?
Yeah, here's all the info.
Kara,
Yeah.
you wanna read that off real quick?
Sure, the conference is in October from the 4th to the 6th. I believe it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The ticket prices are $475 if we register early, which is before August 15th. I have on there the information about the room price, about how much it would cost in fuel. And we would be splitting that room cost also with, Mossy Rock, so,
You need council's approval.
yes.
I make a motion, we approve the annual vision conference.
I will second that motion.
It's been moved in second. Any more discussion? Let's
May learn a lot.
vote on it.
Yeah.
Let's vote on it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Bring me back a sticker.
Okay,
Oktoberfest.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Bring me back I've never been to Leavenworth, so. Bring me back a sticker.
okay, moving on to unfinished business, Winlock Court Service progress discussion only. Got it in the packet, and I read everything that was in there. There's a lot of wording, a lot of pages of stuff, legal stuff. Judges and all that.
If anybody has any questions, I can answer them. we're
It's
waiting.
Pretty straightforward, the
Yeah.
contract. It was written by Buzzard, we kind of, or Eric looked it over. We were gonna have him come out, but everything's just very black and white. There's not a lot of gray. We still have time. We haven't received anything from Lewis County, letting us know that they released us from the contract. I did speak to somebody and they said that they were gonna get over all of our final billing, make sure to wrap up any cases that we had with them. But Marissa over at Buzzard said that we really weren't in a huge hurry to sign this, and that for some reason, we weren't able to vote on it tonight. It was just
Right.
open for discussion, and he could come out and answer any questions, but again, I know Eric read it over and it's the contract's pretty clear.
We're waiting to vote on it until we can actually execute it.
Correct.
So,
Well, I also got some of the paperwork that I read said that even if we got it early, I couldn't sign it until we got all the rest of the stuff
yes,
done in the process.
Yeah, we can enter, it's not a legal contract if we enter into it now, because we're not
Right,
officially out of the old one.
so we'll have some tasks to do coming up.
Correct.
And so we're paying the judge a fixed rate of $1,100. A month, and then we're paying for kind of pay as you pay for play. When we write tickets now, just because Winlock didn't feel it was right to charge us a larger percentage, because that would have been larger. And that our intent is to readdress it. There's some nice language in there. It's written very nicely. So that said that it will have a good faith negotiation. If it turns out that we're writing 100 tickets a month, it might work out better for us to go fixed rate. So that's something we'll address when we get there.
You want to speak to the little bit of gap in September?
Oh,
Yeah.
there'll be a gap kind of when the one is dropping, the other is picking up, when we probably shouldn't be writing any tickets for a couple days. But that'll just be an undisclosed short period of time,
we're on Zoom, right?
an undisclosed short period of time for a day or two. Other than that,
Don't
you get the ticket.
don't tell everybody that one.
Yeah,
Okay, moving on,
Also,
go ahead.
it said something about we need to, do some legislation too. Is that in the works or?
that'll be coming. That's in the works, so we'll be expecting that from Buzzard,
Okay,
for them to be telling us what to get done.
all right.
And Winlock would need all of the policies as well, policies and code.
So, yeah.
It's gonna adopt that, is that what we're gonna do?
Gonna adopt.
Winlock? What she just said?
No, they'll need our code, yeah,
Oh, our code.
yeah.
I misheard you.
Okay, moving on. Other business, July 11th, 2023, council workshop confirmed with Jamie. We're gonna do that on July 11th.
Right. So. The 5-year project plan is all about funding comes in blocks of time. We're currently in a second year of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. And so we should already have a 5-year plan in place, but we don't. So it's a 5-year allocation of funds. Not all funding comes in the same blocks of time. There's no legislative requirements to have a 5-year plan. It's a recommendation by the subject matter experts that presented the workshop on grant writing. The reasoning behind this is that NOFOs, Notice of Funding Opportunities, are rolled out with little advance notice in no discernible logical order. In order to take advantage of the funding, they recommend having the project planned out so the grant applications can be completed timely and offer the best chance of being selected. These grant applications require project scope and budget, as well as justification and beneficial uses to the city. Additionally, projects may be broken up into phases as funding may not cover the entire project. There may be more than one project that qualifies for a funding opportunity. In that case, we would need to prioritize which project for the application. For the meeting, each department head committee, or other interested parties need to come prepared with information on what our future needs look like. The department head should prepare inventories of their departments, including equipment, age, and forecast replacement needs. Wish lists should be included, but if you're bringing a wish list, you need to bring a plan for the wish list. So that's what that's about. And I also had them tack on to the agenda, since I was going to be speaking anyway. There is a grant for a state and local cybersecurity program. Since we're looking at upgrading our internet, etc. Eric sent this to me. It's due July 18th. It needs help because I don't know all the lingo of this, but we have some tests that we're gonna have to go through. It's mandated by the state. They would have to come into the office, do some scanning of our systems and stuff.
So we just paid Visions to come in and do all of our security. They handle all of our IT security. So I'm not sure if it's the same type of security, but Visions has us completely locked down. We pay them.
I don't know.
It is the same.
It's the same
cybersecurity.
thing, yeah.
It's the same thing.
We already have that.
And to give you
We
an
just had
example,
it installed for the police department, and so
Yeah.
they just did the whole building, since that my computer has access to access.
so they were able to determine that for some reason, I'm not sure why, but the proper firewalls were not in place and they put them in place.
Yeah,
So they went through our entire systems, my computer, her computer, and brought everything up to speed.
yeah, even our Wi-Fi now
I
has
think that's the same thing that
Has
we're talking about right there.
firewall.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is this a grant that we could apply for and then retroactively get paid back with?
I have no idea.
Hmm.
I did all this paperwork and did all this reading. And
Well, I
I
mean,
need help with
it
making
rings a
the
bell,
budget
though,
and
like
what
the
type of
five-
equipment we needed.
The 5-year plan, I mean, that it's like this just came up not too long ago. And if we had something in place, bam, we could like put this in place, get $50,000 to $100,000.
I
just
get
like
that, yeah.
I think there are things we could spend more security money on, right? So in the, continuity of operations and doing some risk management. And we can find somebody to give us some money to figure out what the heck that even is.
Maybe a good starting point would be to talk to Dalton from Vision. He could talk with you too about what Vision already gives us.
Yeah.
And see if there's additional things that we need. He was just here yesterday.
It was
Good
good.
day. Yeah,
So,
We have them on.
so how soon could you do that, Eric? Because like I said, I don't know what's required, what's needed. And I'm happy to spend whatever hours I need to get this grant
so it
submitted.
looks like I need to read that thing you gave me for a couple minutes.
Absolutely.
Let's see if we can tackle something the next. No. We can tackle something between now and next meeting and see if we can figure something out on that. Or not, if it turns out to not be something we can use.
Next meeting will be too late. Deadline is July
I mean,
18th.
between now and the next meeting. Do you need anything from council to, I don't know that we need to approve grants.
I have no idea. That's the other reason I brought this up is do I need to get some direction from you?
I know that this is a hot button for the auditors and for the state.
Yeah, so, the auditors and for for Washington State Patrol. Are the ones that gave us our requirements, and so the police department's gonna have higher requirements, I believe, than auditors are going to. Again, I'm not sure why they weren't in place before, because they've been required for at least 10 years, they said, so.
But
We checked off every box that was needed for security.
yeah, I wanna make sure everybody understands that we have 2 certificates of completion or in
Yes.
compliance for access and the technical security audit,
Yes.
which
So does
consists
your,
of all that, we are in
hold on,
compliance.
does your computer have
Factor authentication.
yeah, do you have a fingerprint now thing?
Not a fingerprint,
I can, it's not.
Is it?
No.
So I think what we need to do is take what you're holding there, make a copy and send it to Dalton tomorrow, and let him look at it.
Okay.
And have a conversation between Dalton, you and Jamie and find out, do we need to pursue this, and if so, how should we do it? Because he's a technical guy, not we.
Yeah,
Or we can get reimbursed, I think that would be a good thing to look into, but if it was, you know, obviously it costs money, so if it's that we can get reimbursed, that would be good too.
That'd be the best scenario.
that would be.
So are we still having a workshop then on July 11th, Jerry?
Yeah, cause that's not the only one.
Okay. So July 11th, we'll have the council workshop, confirmed.
No,
What?
that's not a council workshop on the 11th, is it?
It says council workshop confirmed by Jamie.
Okay, I thought that was the head of departments and the committees.
Yes.
It's still council and departments and you and
And that-
anybody else.
It has to be open to the public then.
Absolutely.
Yep,
Absolutely. So it would be with council?
yes.
Okay.
July 11th. What time? 6?
5:30.
5:30?
We're ready.
5:30. Okay, moving on to public input. Any public input?
I just wanted to say something really quick about the park. Past 2 weeks, we have been super duper busy. Not this last week, but the weekend before, we had over 100 people in the campground.
Wow.
That was for a memorial. Every campsite, every tent site was taken. And then we had other people coming in, just, you know, and we have the other place that's up by
Toodle?
Toodle. Yes, she calls down here to see if we had room this last weekend, which we did. So she's been sending campers back to us.
She also sends campers for here to dump their waste there, because we have a dump site.
Oh, does she?
She does.
As long as they pay.
She's been doing it for quite a while.
Oh, as long as they pay.
Well, Rachel emptied it today, right?
Yeah, we emptied the dump site, last week, I think, and then we just,
How much was in it?
I think I deposited, it was like a total of like 1,500, and I've still got boat launch stuff to do and shower money to count.
Okay, chief?
I just wanted to add real quick, and I brought this up personally to a couple people. But there's a guy named Kevin Newport. He's a sergeant with the Cowlitz Indian tribe. And he wants to move to the Kemp Wilson RV park and live there full time. Well, what does that do for the city? He's willing to pay $300 a month for rent. So that brings that revenue in. Plus you have another officer in the city limits, even though he's not technically with the city of Toledo, he's there. And that would also bring additional security to Tim and Ruth. Because when he goes home on his off days, his police vehicle is gonna be parked there. And I know that has to be a discussion, but I just wanted to get that out so everybody understands. He did get authorization from his commander to move up here. If it does fit well with everybody else. So
Would there be a spot opening though?
he just gets a permanent spot and then
I see.
Just pick
and
a
he's gonna
phone.
pay $300 a month. Every month he's gonna pay $300. So that's. revenue
Just
to the
like
city.
when we had the farmers that worked here that one summer, all they paid.
I think the question being answered is how much does the spot rent for versus how much?
Yeah.
Going to pay is
And what's our current commitment?
Ruth,
current commitment.
do you know what the campsites will cost right now?
35,
A night,
correct.
Yeah, you
Times
guys come up
30.
with the figure, whatever.
times 30 is over $900.
Well, but we usually don't, they're usually not rented out during the week a whole lot, right?
Correct.
Right.
I'm just saying for every day that he's there, he's gonna be there every day.
I'm just saying that I know someone on council is gonna ask that question. Which is going to be, how does it rate against what we're receiving in revenue? And it looks like, let's say it was not occupied during the week, city would have 8 days then essentially. a month where you would be able to rent, well, 8 times 35. Doesn't quite equal what he's willing to pay per month. On a guaranteed basis, correct?
Well, he's willing to pay more, I'm just throwing a figure out there.
I'm trying to do the math on that, but.
Well, eight
It
times,
should be $240 for 20, so $260 a month. If it was rented by somebody coming in. All 4 weekends, both days,
280.
We,
okay,
we still have campers in there, they're in there 8 days right now. So. I mean, we're during the summertime, so we could be having people there. Every day or coming on weekends, I know G's there's campers there too, so.
Chief, was this his place to stay when he's on duty, or you said when he goes home, his?
Yeah, so just be where he's living, it'd be here in the RV park. He's living in Woodland RV Park right now.
Okay.
He doesn't like it down there at all.
what does he pay down there, do you know?
He didn't tell me that. I don't know what he pays down there.
My biggest concern is during the winter when, because we were talking, our rates are higher in the winter for RVs, just because it takes
And
a
there's
lot to
hardly
heat them.
anybody in there.
Well,
And it takes a lot to heat them though, it's right.
consider,
Like
consider,
ghost town.
let's consider we close the park in 4 months, for 4 months.
Oh, okay, I didn't know
It's
that.
closed. So those 4 months,
We weren't
What?
last, we weren't last.
Yeah,
I know this last year was experimental to see how many we got through the winter months, which was very nil to none.
Yeah,
Normally, we close it for 4 months, normally. So during those 4 months, we have no revenue.
Wonder
Yeah,
if
so
it'll be
just from
different
a-
though this year with having an automatic pay, and then you'll be like, oh, I'm coming from Victoria. And I wanna go down to Portland or wanna go down to, wherever and spend the night.
That's a guess, and by golly, but Firefly's handling all that.
I know, but it does happen, and it's happened to me. So it's gotta happen to somebody else.
I'm sure he'd be willing to
You
pay,
know.
$500 a month. I don't think that'd be a problem at all. But for me, just from a safety point of view for the city of Toledo, you're getting another officer there. Okay, so people see him there, even if he's, whatever, he's there, and I think that's just a win-win for everybody. Something major happened and he's there, I could call him up and he's gonna go with me. And that's just really good for the city. So that's my line of thinking, plus it gives Ruth and Tim an additional layer of security. Bad guys show up, look around, there's a Cal's travel, law enforcement vehicle there. They're gonna head somewhere else. That's just my thinking, that's the only agenda I have.
My only counter argument to that is that a police presence in a park does put a damper on socializing and.
Well, there's already no
The
drinking
people
in the park.
cut me some.
I understand.
People still drink in the park.
I understand. Something else to
Dude, who's there
consider.
in the park?
I have a counter also. I support your thinking on that. It would be helpful. However, how many exceptions are we gonna make, and do we end up in trouble because we're making too many exceptions?
Well, the only exception, we did it with the farmer, nobody squawked about that for him staying there year round. And we made money for the park to put back into the park. I see it as a win-win situation of having somebody there full-time and making money per month.
I think people would be
Sure.
happy to see another police officer in town.
Sure,
Is it at all possible to consider 1 to 2 spaces that have the ability to be a long-term rent? And say, oh, these are the only 2 positions that we would have at any given point that could be leased out long-term, everything else is just on a.
If you're gonna put it down as a long-term rental, that throws us in a different tax bracket too, we would have to pay different taxes. It would have to be like a volunteer type situation in order to not have to pay the taxes. I don't know if it's capital gains there or whatever it is, but it falls along those lines of now we're renting out property. And when you go anything over 29 days, I do believe it's capital gains that you have to pay, so. I think it would have to be a volunteer type. situation.
And if you have an
And then
eviction
when it
moratorium,
becomes vacant, if somebody says, hey, I know you were at that long term, I
Right.
want it, and you deny them,
yeah,
lawsuit.
Right,
Because you're deciding it.
yeah, I think a volunteer situation would be good, especially if it's a police officer and their presence in town would be helpful.
Dwayne, how soon does he need an answer? Soon?
No, he's patient. Yeah, he doesn't, I'm just putting it out there for you guys to discuss.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be decided right away.
Because right now, there would not be. Throughout the rest of summer, there would not be, and into fall, an open spot that could be 7 days a week.
I don't know.
yeah, we have to look at.
Certainly, certainly not during cheese days.
No.
Do we have a master chart that Firefly issues that shows, you know, each number of unit and which one is occupied and which one's reserved for
It's on the
everything?
website.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
Well, once again, are we gonna go back to closing the park?
What's that?
Are we gonna go back to closing the park in the wintertime like we did 2 years ago?
Good question.
Consideration for the park board.
Yeah. We'll cover that
Park board.
bridge when we cross it.
Talk to the park board.
So maybe we can take some of this park grant money and pick a couple more spots.
Yeah, well, if we can get this application in before August, because that's what it says right here.
speaking of the park board. I talked to a member of the park board, who keeps asking me every time, when are we gonna have a meeting?
Yeah,
When are
I
we gonna
don't,
have a meeting?
I don't know.
And I'm not sure that the council shouldn't provide some direction as to the park board's gonna meet once, once every 2 weeks.
They
Well, we
did,
decided,
there
They
was,
just-
once decided.
they already decided, Stephen.
It's,
It must not have been there, but at the park board itself, with the new officers and stuff were all there, and I was there. They said that they would have it the Tuesday before Lions Club.
No,
No,
second Tuesday of every month.
and falls before Wednesday, the second Wednesday, which Lions Club meets, so they can have information to take to the Lions Club
In some months that doesn't happen, but yes, in general.
in general.
Yeah, so 3 o'clock.
I will let-
Second Tuesday,
yeah,
okay?
Is it on the website?
Yes, it is.
So tell them to check the website.
I'll do that.
Okay, is there any more public input on anything?
Yeah,
Joe?
I intend on putting up, tow truck signs on the east side of my building in those parking spots. There's gonna be an issue with that.
That's your building, that's your building.
Like 6 spots and I'll leave the handicap spot open.
I don't see nothing, it's your building.
Yeah.
Has there been an issue, people parking there?
No, but sometimes they're gonna be open during cheese days. That's all.
Especially with us that has businesses there. I
yeah.
don't mind people parking, it's just I don't want them to take money.
Set out really annoying lawn chairs.
What's really annoying is when I park on my lawn. I have to board it off so people don't park on my lawn for the cheese day event.
Mhm.
Yes, I know, I feel your pain.
Yeah, I usually block off like an entire,
So
half, like, I usually take up the whole block with like the most annoying things I can.
My shade tree is the best one around.
It is, it's so good.
It's 50, 60 feet tall and it's bushy.
Mhm.
And people like to park on that for the shade. And they'll probably try to do the same thing this year. I'll be out there with the shotgun. Anyway,
That's not allowed,
I
Steve.
know, I got firecrackers.
You're on.
I no, I don't have firecrackers. I got legal sparklers that makes into a bomb. Did you know that?
Quiet.
Anyway, any other public input? Okay, there was one more issue of the jail being painted again that I've been hearing.
What?
The jail has went from blue back to beige, white or beige.
Oh, yeah. Can it be painted yellow for Tuesdays?
I have nothing to do with it. It's under common grounds. They take care of the building, they take care of the vegetables they produce there, they take care of everything there.
Well, they take care of the building, but could the building be painted yellow for Tuesdays? Could they take,
I don't know how many paint jobs is gonna get here in the next couple of weeks. I have no idea.
that was.
Common ground.
Common ground is taken.
It's common ground,
Common ground, not parkwood.
not park
That'd
work.
be Brett then.
Brian Downs.
And city property.
It
It's
is,
city property, but the common ground takes care of it. Just like all the planters around here, they take care of all those too, but
mm,
yeah, I know, not very
So,
well, because they don't
They
have.
got to choose the color. to replace
well,
blue.
technically, they don't take care of the planters because I've been taking care of the planters.
Well, they used to,
I know, they've been asking for volunteers.
yes, and there was no volunteers.
And that I think should be another, I think that we shouldn't, it's not a fight and I don't wanna make this a fight, but I think that we really should have a talk about when volunteers either move away or grow old or, you know, for whatever reason aren't here anymore.
Why'd you look at me?
Because I don't want to have you not involved in this conversation, okay? I'm trying to involve you in the conversation.
Oh.
Sorry.
And don't look at me.
Like, you know, how do we make it so it's, you know, like, it is a city building. But like. It is also, you know, we have a Parks Department for a reason. And so I think perhaps as, you know, things get overwhelming and difficult to maintain, I think there needs to be more communication between all involved.
Now, are you talking about the common ground
I'm
and
talking
building
about-
it, or all the planters around town?
I'm talking about everything in general.
Okay,
Everything's under the park board?
how about this?
No, I'm talking, oh, well, everything's under the city, right?
You're asking,
Everything's technically under the
So
city.
are you asking to put the jail area under the park?
I'm not
board?
asking to do
No, well, I'm just
anything.
curious if,
No,
so it sounded like somebody other than the common ground needed to make some decisions or something.
no,
No, okay.
no. I'm just
Okay.
saying that. You know, I think there hasn't been much communication between the city and necessarily Common Grounds lately, or Vision Toledo, or.
Well, historically, the town, the city isn't all that nice to the volunteers. So I think that's what we're trying to do is kind of bring back some happiness between the two. So maybe,
All
Yeah,
the
yeah.
flowers and those planters used to be maintained and created by the garden club,
Yeah,
and that fizzled out. I mean,
right. I've been going around with my
Age of
truck
Trish,
hauling
get it.
like 50 gallons of water every other morning because I got tired of watching plants die and thinking, gosh, this is our, you know, somebody comes to see
Hmm.
Toledo and you know, here we are, you come and walk into our city hall and you're gonna see dead plants. That looks terrible, you know? You're gonna drive into our city and you're gonna see dead plants. That looks terrible. How professional do we look? Not at all. And so I think that we could do better than what we've been doing. And so that's why I think we need a little bit more communication than what has been going on. And I understand that we feel ownership over things. I get that. I do totally get it. But communication comes first.
okay,
so we need a foster program of somebody assigned.
Common
One
ground.
planter.
common
And-
ground takes care of all, supposed to take care of.
all
They're
of
not
them.
getting any volunteers, they're not getting any help, so they drop the ball.
Oh, okay.
Hmm,
Okay, I asked for a cleanup party last weekend.
Right.
You know how many people showed up? 5. How am I supposed to clean the whole town up and do this and do that with 5 people on cleanup day? And there was a week of notice before that.
well,
Okay, so you're not gonna get volunteers,
I-
you're not gonna get help, you're just gonna have to buckle up and do it
no, I
yourself.
think that there's many different ways to do it though.
Okay,
so.
well, you find some ways, let me know. Cause I'm getting nowhere. Anyway. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Moved in second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Thank everybody for coming tonight. Appreciate it. Rachel.